We are going to see how to create the WordPress theme from scratch, and this is the e-commerce theme. You can see these are the products. If you click on a product, it will show the product, and these are the categories. If you click on the categories, at present I have just added the t-shirts, and if you see, this is coming from a plugin. We have created the widget plugin. We are going to create two widget plugins. This is one widget plugin, and this is the another widget plugin. And we are going to see how to create the drop down using navwalker. And this is the about page, and we are going to see how to customize this logo. Fine. Now, so this is a view product page. You can leave a comment on this page, in this product. I have left the source code in the description. So this is the index.html. So this is the HTML template which we are going to convert into WordPress. Fine. Now let's install the WordPress. I'm going to use the latest version 5.5.1, and I'm going to place it in my htdocs folder. So let's rename this folder. So this folder is now our current project. I'm going to name it as fifth WordPress theme. So let me create a database. Let's install the database. So let's install the WordPress. Get into the folder name, and it will ask you to choose the language. And we need to insert the database name and the username and password for the database. So for now, the username and password for the database is root. This is a database name, and the username is root, and the password is null for XAMPP. We click on submit, run the installation. Now it will ask you to create the credentials. That means when you want to you are going to log in to the dashboard. So for that we need to create the account. So this is the page where we create account, or you can say we create login credentials. So the username and password is admin. In the appearance tab, you can see already there are three themes. Now we are going to create another theme. So in our folder we have three themes. So let me delete it, and let me create our theme in the folder name called UI Monk. So let me open this in my Visual Studio Code. So for the theme to run, we need at least two files. The first one is index.php and the second one is style.css. Let me create it. So in the current folder which I have created, let me create two files. The first one index.php, the second one style.css. So the style.css will have the details about your theme in the comment section. So we have to place the comment section on the header of the style sheet. So let me show you how to create. First let me create the style.css. It is not allowing me, so let me delete it. New file style.css. It is not allowing me. Fine, that's okay. Let me create it from this way. Control S, style.css, and save it in the UI Monk folder. Fine. Now the style.css is available. Now let's give the details about the theme. So this is the comment. So the theme name will define the theme name. I'm going to give the name as my channel name. You can give description, you can give author name, you can give version, and you can give author URI. So let me just give the theme name and version. So these details will be visible on the theme details. Fine, I have saved it. If I refresh it, my theme will be available. There won't be any image because I have not added screenshot.png. If you want to see the image, you need to add a file called screenshot.png. Fine, we have inserted values. That inserted values are here. UI monk version by the author. Now this index page will be loaded when we load the home page. So let me make a comment like I will be loaded when home page is called. So this is the home page link. So our index is getting called. So what we need to do is, let's open the static HTML file and let me paste all the static content to the index.php. Now this is how the static content looks like. We have style.css on the index on the HTML file. So let me copy all those style sheet and paste it in my style.css, which is in our current theme folder. So to link the style.css, WordPress actually gives you the function called blog info, and inside the blog info we need to pass a parameter called style sheet URL. So if I click, it will not allow you because it is 404. It is not able to get the style.css. Blog info is a function and we need to pass style sheet underscore URL. So if I get into the console, you will see it is again redirecting me to the wrong URL. Let me see. We don't need to add the style.css. If you see in the URL, it's style.css and slash style.css. We don't need the style.css. Now if you refresh, you will see the CSS codes. Fine. The next thing, let me make this title dynamic. So type the relevant title, and now in our current WordPress it is showing bootstrap example. You can see it's bootstrap example now. And now let me make it dynamic. So the same function we are going to use, but in this time we are going to add the name as the parameter. So now you can see the title has shown up. Instead of static title, it's dynamic now. So let me paste all the header section in a different file called header.php. And let me include the file. So WordPress gives you the function called get header. That will include the header.php. So if you refresh, there won't be any change because WordPress will take care of it. The same way, let me create another file called footer.php, and I will paste all the footer related content on the footer.php. Fine. Now to link it, we need to call the function called get footer. Now there won't be any change. Let me separate the sidebar as well. The call MD, the call SM4, call MD4. Let me cut whatever inside the column and paste it into a different file called sidebar.php. Paste it, and to link it we have a different function called get template part, and it's a function we need to pass a parameter called sidebar, which is the name of the file. So now if you refresh, there is no change. If I try to write something on the sidebar, it will get reflected because the get template part function is working. The next thing, we have to add two more functions, WP head and WP footer. This will add the relevant style sheet required for the dashboard, and semicolon is missing. Let me paste the another function in the footer, which is WP high underscore footer. So with the help of the WP underscore footer, you can see the top bar. Now if you see the top bar, it is because of the WP footer. Fine. Now let's make the upload option for the logo. So if you click on customize, there is a tab called site identity. So here you can see this is for favicon. So there would be two options, like one for favicon and one for logo. So at present the logo is not visible, so let me just add the favicon. So let me make this as a favicon. Favicon is nothing but the tab will show an image along with the title name. So the WebP is not identifiable, so let me make download another file, either PNG or JPG. Now let me upload the PNG or JPG. It is not allowing me to drag. So this is for the favicon. It is accepting only the square, not the rectangle. Fine. Now if you see, there is no option for uploading logo. So to make it enable, we need to create another file called function.php. So before that, let me edit the header, navbar. So these are the thing which is going to come dynamic. So let me comment it. There would be only the logo name. Let me uncomment the form because we need it. Let me make it dynamic. We need to add a action attribute, and inside the action attribute we need to pass home URL, and home URL is a function. We need to pass /, and the input tag will have the name attribute as yes. Yes simply denotes to search. Fine. Now your search is dynamic. So this is the place where we are going to add the code for modifying the logo. So let me create another file called function.php, and this function will add a support for this theme, which is custom logo. So now if I refresh, once we upload the image, that image we need to access over here. So if I refresh, you will see in the site identity, so there is a place to upload logo as well. Now it will allow you to crop in the rectangle shape. You see, it is customizable. I have left the source code in the description, don't worry about it. The next thing, we are going to create the navwalker menu. So for that, let me get into the GitHub link of navwalker. So before that, on the appearance tab, we are not able to, we will not be able to access the menu tab. So for the menu tab we need some pages, so let me create some pages first. As I said, there is no option for menu tab, so we need to add a function so that we can access menu. So if I refresh it, now it will allow me to access the menu because I have added the function register nav menu on the function.php. So there is a menu, let me click it. Let me create a menu by the created page. Let me create another page called contact. So let me add those page on the menu. Don't forget to add, don't forget to click the primary menu, because that is what will make you available menu on the index.php. So this is a primary menu. Fine. Now get into the place of the nav bar, and now we need to pass a function nav menu. So this theme location should be equal to the primary. Now if I refresh, or if I get into the home page, so this is the GitHub link for navwalker. We have a class file, so let me copy the class file and paste it in my theme folder. So this is the file we need. Save this file in the theme folder and save it with the name which is available on the URL. So we need to call this class file from the function. So for that we have a function in PHP called require once. That code is also available over here. Let us copy these whole things. Let's try whether it is working or not. A single line require once will also work. Let me try this. So if I refresh, it is not working. So let's pass this function to the WP nav menu on index.php. So it is asking for the container. The container is already present, so we don't need the container. So let me make false. So the class is already there. You can see this class and this ID is already there, so we don't need this. We just need the UL class to be applied on the menu class. So if I save, and it should work. It has some word work because the style is not applied. So let me make a drop down. If everything goes right, we should get drop down. Not visible. So let me just add require once and try with the function. The problem with the class name. Let me copy this name. And it is still not working. Let me see why. Let me add just only the required ones and try. If I get into the inspect, let me see if I can change the color of the anchor tag and make visible. So I need to get the class called navbar nav, get in the style sheet and call the navbar, and inside the anchor tag we need to add a color called white, and let me make it important so that it can override the default bootstrap class. But the dropdown is not available. I think we need to add the fallback as well. As I said, we don't need the container because we are already in the container. Now let's try, and yes, it is working. So our header is total dynamic now. So let me change the style sheet for this dropdown. So let me get the parent class using the Chrome inspector. So the parent div is dropdown, I guess. Inside the anchor tag, let me make the color as black. I think I need to override it with the help of important keyword. Still not working. Now if I refresh and let me check whether the class is applied or not, the style is applied or not. Yes, it has been applied. Now it's time to push the form away. So now if I refresh, you will see the form will be on the right side. The next thing, we have made the search field dynamic. So let's create this plugin widget for Jumbotron. So in the plugin folder, let me create a folder name called Jumbotron. So this is a plugin now which will be available for this particular theme. So here I need to create two files. The first file is PHP file. The second one is class file. So this is the folder name. And inside the folder name, one PHP file and one class file is required. Now I would like to give the information about the plugin on the index.php. We don't need index.php actually. We can give the same name as of the folder name. So this comment gives the information about the plugin name, and we want to call the class file from the PHP file. Both are PHP. Fine, we need to use some of the classes, some of the function WP widget API. From the WP widget API, we have to copy and paste it on the class file. Let me start the PHP tag first. And now let me rename it. Let us call the function. So this is the class name, and it will be initialized on the hook widgets in it. The next thing, we have a block, and that will clearly say what are the things needed to create widget plugin. The name of the plugin, and now we are going to set some fields so that we can save and retrieve data. So on the form function, we are creating some form fields. So at present we don't need checkbox, we don't need select button. So let me delete the checkbox and tell it delete the select button, select tag I mean. So now this section will be visible on the widget area, and then we need to update the instance. We have used 3 instances in this particular plugin: title, text, and text area. We don't need checkbox, we don't need select. And finally, what should be what should be outputted on the browser, and how it should look like. There is simply echo. We just need a title and a description. So let me see what it is, what HTML is made of. HTML tag h1 and paragraph. So we leave the title, we don't need. We need the text to be on the h1, and we want the text area or the description to be on the paragraph. Fine. Now what we have to do is, it's a widget, don't forget that. So first of all, we need to activate the widget. So for that, let me get into the function.php. We need to activate the widget. So we will be having 2 widgets. The first one is for the sidebar, and the second one for the Jumbotron. Now if I refresh, I should see the widget link under the appearance tab. So if I click on it, there will be 2 widget places, the sidebar and the Jumbotron. It is from the name we are getting it. And our plugin will be, we need to activate it. So let me get into the plugin. Let me activate the plugin created plugin. So once we have activated it, on the widget section you should see your plugin Jumbotron. Let me search. It is not available. Let me see why. I have given this name. So now you can see with hard refresh, I want to place this Jumbotron widget on the Jumbotron area. So the title won't be displayed. The text is for this heading h1, and the description. We don't need the checkbox and the select. Let me remove it. We have already done it, but I don't know why it is still showing up. So let me hard refresh and see again. Now we don't see the select button and checkbox. This is for h1 and this is for the description paragraph. Save. Now to access, we need to check whether the widget is first available or not. So on the it is in the index.php, I guess. On the index.php, first we need to check whether this widget is available or not. So for that we have a function called isActiveSidebar, and we need to pass the id. So if I save or if I refresh, I should see the output. Let me check whether I have passed the proper id or not. Let me paste the dynamic sidebar outside of the if condition and check, and now I guess it should work. Let me delete the old one. Yes, it is available now. Now let's create some categories so that we can display the category on the sidebar. Watch, shoes, t-shirt. Let me create some post as well. So on the sidebar, we are going to modify the default file of wp includes. So then we get into the folder structure. Inside the wp include file, we have a folder called widgets. Inside the widgets, we have category file. So let me copy this and paste it in my theme folder. On my current theme, we have a file called widgets, folder called widgets. Just paste inside it. And don't forget that we need to change the class name, or else it will override. Let me call the file name from the function.php. The file name, copy it and paste it just after the widgets slash. The next thing we have to edit, we need to add a class for the ul. And if you see, the widget is surrounded with card, and inside the card the ul has a class called a list group. So let me add the class list group to the ul, but the li is not available. So for the li, we need to create a function, and the sidebar should be, and the widget should be visible on the sidebar. So if I refresh, I should see two categories. Let me add the category on the sidebar. There is an error. As I said, we need to change the class name. It says there is already a class name on the WP includes file. And we need to call this file from the function.php. I think it has not saved properly. It shows still loading. And fine, we can see only one categories. So to show multiple category, we need related post. So let me create some related post. I don't have other image, so what I do is I'll just create the product which is related to t-shirts. And now if you see, first let me create the products. If you see, there is no option for uploading image, so to add the theme support, we need to create post thumbnail. We need to call the post thumbnail. Once this is done, if we refresh, you should see the featured image section on the right side. I think I have made some spelling mistake. Let me see what it is. Yeah, it is working. And some information about the black t-shirt. Let me add it to a category. Let me create some more products. At present there are two, and now you can see I have added many. So now if I refresh, I should see multiple categories on the right side of sidebar, and yes, it is working. But the problem is that the list item is not getting properly styled. So for that, let me get into the UL. Let me surround this UL with the card HTML. We just have to find before widget and after widget, and you have to replace it with the card HTML. So this is the title. Let me add the static HTML. So our title will be surrounded by card header. So we need to start the card div. Inside the card div, we have card header and card body. Let's find where the after widget section is. Let me go close the card body and card div. It may be a little confusing, but if you understand the core concept, it is really easy. We just have to surround the list item with card. So there is only two options: insert before widget and insert after widget. So that's why I am trying to enclose the UL tag on the card. So the other option is also available. And yes, the card has been properly, yeah, it is applied. So now the next thing is I need to modify the UL. So I need to modify the LI inside the UL. So that is not possible. Let me modify it some HTML. We need to close the HTML as a heading level 3. I have closed the card header. Now I have opened the card header, card body. The title, so let me call the function name. Now let me try. There is no change. Now let's style this li inside the UL. We need to create a function. So the WordPress automatically add a class name called cat item. So I'm just replacing the cat item with my list group item class. Fine. Now this is dynamic. Let's create another widget plugin for discount. So for that, let me again get into the plugin folder. Let me create another plugin. Let me name this folder as, you can give sidebar widget or you can give discount. As I said, we need two files and one class file. So from this sidebar widget, we are going to describe the plugin using comment. And we need to call the class file from here using require once, or you can use include. So as I said, we have a block which clearly defines. Just copy paste all the functions required inside a PHP tag. So let me call a hook. So that hook will include the widget on that hook will include the plugin to the widget. At present on the plugin, you should able to see the plugin. Now let's define what are the field we require. We need heading, we need text area, and we need one button that will take you to the post. So the first function that will simply give name to the plugin. The second function will describe the variable and the HTML form elements. We don't need select tag. We want the title to be replaced with link, and I want the link to be below the text area. We don't need drop down here. Text field, text area, and link. These are the three input fields I required on the widget section. Just replace where all the text is there with link on the PHP, not on the HTML. So this is for the form field on the widget page. The next thing, we need to update the instance. So we have three instances here: text area, and link. We don't need checkbox, we don't need select. We'll replace the title with link. And finally, what should be outputted on the front page? So what should be visible on the sidebar? That HTML will be on the widget. So we don't have title, we have text field, we have text area, we don't need select, we don't need checkbox. So we need another, which is link. So the link would be anchor tag. Instead of paragraph, let me make it anchor tag. And the href will have the link data, pass the variable inside the href. And I would be adding the bootstrap classes, btn warning, so to get the yellow color button. And we can give the text static as well as dynamic, so I prefer here in a static way. Shop now to the text. Let me add a class btn warning. So let me see what are the HTML required. We need the card again. This is card header. And we need card body. And just below the anchor tag, we'll close the card body div, and then we'll close the card div. We have not started the card div, so let me create a class called card. And that should work. I need to pass some data to the widget. Sorry for that. Activate the plugin. Once it is done, we should see so this is it. Add it on the sidebar. We have 3 input field. One is for title and the text for discount. And finally, let me get some anchor tag. So let me get some e-commerce website link. And give it to the link. So now if I refresh, I should see now we have a different ID. The title and description has changed, but the anchor tag is not visible. Let me see why. The button is not visible. Let me inspect and check what is the mistake. I think the link variable is not declared on the class file. You could see the text area being updated, but not the link. So yeah, this is the problem. The widget function, I have not declared the link. Now I could see the data on the sidebar. Now we need to show all the products on the home page, which is index page. So it is very simple. We have to find the repeating div, and we need to place while loop, and inside the while loop we need to place the repeating div, and that's it. So this column call sm4 is getting repeated again and again. To make the title dynamic, we have a function called the title. And first check whether the title is available or not. And to link to the full details, we have a function called the permalink. And to check the image, we have another function, the post have post thumbnail, has post thumbnail. And now if I refresh, I should see the data coming from the website. Sorry, the data coming from the backend, which is dynamic one, not static. Now if I click on the view product, the single.php page is not defined, so it is just taking the layout of the index.php. So we don't need that. We need a different layout for the full details page. So for that, let me create another file called single.php. So this single.php file will be called when you click on the full details. We need nothing, we just have to replace the button, that is a permalink button. It is not working, let me see why. Fine, on the single.php we need the image to be slightly bigger. So if you see, it is still in the call sm4. There is problem with the div, let me sort it out. We are creating the column inside the call sm4, that is the problem. Yes, you see, it's call sm4. Inside call sm4 we are distributing two more columns. So to add the comment, we have a function called comment templates. Comments template. Fine. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for listening. Let me see what is the error. Yeah, double round bracket. And that's it.